One of the areas in my life that needs some serious organization is my shoebox full of photographs. If I gave that box to my kids right now, they wouldn't even know who some of the people are. And although I would love to scrapbook every single picture I have, I know I probably won't have time to do it all. So I've designed what I call a memory keeper. This little box is perfect for storing photos from individual events and vacations, along with a cute little journaling card. I've created a journaling card template for you that you can download for free on our freebies page at stamptv.com and print out using your home computer and printer. If you're like me, you rarely drop your suitcase at the door and immediately scrapbook your vacation while all the details are fresh in your mind. But with these little memory boxes, you can store your photos and journaling cards so later, when you have time, you can scrapbook your event and use the journaling cards to relive the moments as you create your page. And if you're not a scrapbooker, your photos and written memories will be beautifully archived to pass down to future generations. Let me show you the tools and products you need to get started. First, you need a ScorePal scoring board. You're going to need some strong tape, and in this case I'm using score tape, the 1/4 inch size. You know how much I love my score tape. You're going to need some ribbon, a corner rounder, a good sharp pair of scissors, and I'm using the Cutter Bee scissors. You're also going to need some regular adhesive, and I'm using my Glue Glider Pro, and then some pattern paper and some cardstock. Now for my actual box, I'm going to use a piece of the Fresh Asparagus Pure Luxury cardstock, and then I'm going to use our sweet corn and some of the Basic Gray Origins pattern paper to do some layering and to decorate my box. So I'll put these aside for now. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is score your piece of cardstock. And let me show you the score lines, the measurements of where you're going to score. The first score line is going to be at a 1/2 inch. And our cardstock is so nice and thick that I recommend doing a second score line to really get the groove cut. Then the next one is going to be at 1 inch. And you can see I have my paper pressed up against the side of the ScorePal, but I have brought it down a little bit. I don't have it all the way up at the top. And the reason is because with the Gina K Designs Pure Luxury cardstock and other thick cardstocks like ours, it's nice to get your scoring tool stuck into the groove before you start because it's hard to press down on the thicker cardstock. Okay, so now we have our first 2 score lines, and then our last 2 score lines are going to be at 7.5 inches and at 8 inches. Then you're going to turn your cardstock a 1/4 turn and put it up against the side again. And your first score line will be at 3 inches. Your next one will be at 3.5 inches. And then you'll do 2 more, one at 8 inches and one at 8.5 inches. Now you've just created the template for your memory keeper. Now there's going to be a little bit of cutting that you're going to do, and you want to make sure that you've got a good pair of sharp scissors, and I'm using my Cutter Bee scissors. Now, if you take a look at this template, you're going to see that this side is a little bit bigger than this side. The bigger side is going to be your top flap that's going to flap down on top. So you're going to remove this entire corner. And let me show you where you're going to cut. You're going to cut in past those 2 score lines, and then you're going to cut down that second score line. Like that. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. You're going to go all the way in here, the second score line down, and then the second score line in, you're going to remove that whole chunk. And this is now going to be the lid to your box. Okay, so now the second side here, what we're going to do is we're going to create a little flap that you can fold. So you want to cut in right here on the second score line up and on the first score line up. So that creates a little flap like that. Okay, and then you're going to remove the excess here, both score lines. You're going to do the same thing on this side. One here and one here, and then remove this excess right here. Okay, so now you've got your box ready to assemble. Now there will be a template for this box on the freebies page at Stamp TV also. So this way you'll be able to actually see where the score lines are and which ones you fold and which ones you cut. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is embellish our box. So we're going to round some corners, and the corners we're going to round are the bottom flap, 2 corners here. We're going to round the top flap 2 corners. This just makes the box look so pretty and finished off when you round the corners. And then you're also going to round these 2 pieces. This is your top flap, and these 2 pieces right here you're going to round. And the best way to get in there is to fold on that score line like that so you can get your corner rounder in there. Otherwise it's difficult to get it in there. And there. Okay, so now I have all my pieces rounded, and now I'm going to begin to embellish the outside of my box. Now what I've done is I've cut some pieces of our sweet corn cardstock and the Basic Right Origins pattern paper to fit these areas just like that. And these measurements for these layers will be on the website at stamptv.com. You're going to see the video, and then underneath the video will be all the measurements for the different layers here so that you can do this yourself. Okay, so now that I have those, and I also rounded the corners of those to match, now I'm going to tape these pieces onto my box.